I'm such an idiot redoing that. Oh my god. Okay. As you read by the title today, I'm going to be reacting to some scary animations. I don't know if these are going to be good. They might be complete but I'm going to tell some stories along the way, and hopefully we enjoy this. Let's enjoy ourselves, shall we? Because that is why we watch YouTube. Not to get mad every 5 seconds at people who disagree with you, okay? I don't know where all that anger came from. It's not that serious, I swear. So today I'm gonna be reacting to Martin animations, so if you like these animations, go check out the channel. And let's get into this.
This happened when I was younger. As an adult, it's even more scary.
Okay.
I lived in a town in Wyoming growing up. We lived in the front of the city park, if you can even call it a park, that is. There were a lot of people who were drunks, as well as homeless people that lived in the park, so most children didn't go to the park. Me and my brother
like
did
50
often
times.
though, as very little scared us, that is, until that night. Now, being a small town, even though living across a somewhat dangerous place, no one locked their doors.
What?
My room was the first one as you came into our house.
Oh.
One night I woke up to someone putting their
Genuinely, okay, first off, lock your doors no matter where you live, okay? Because there's crazy people everywhere, regardless of where you live. Secondly, I have like a thing against being the first, like room when you walk into like an apartment or a house or anything like that. Like, I do not want that. It's a fear I have. I don't want to be the first one, because in my head I'm like, well, I'd rather the other person get sacrificed before me, or I'd rather the other person at least give me some sort of a warning that they're getting brutally murdered in the other room, because they're most likely going to go to that room first. You know, it's just statistically speaking. Don't ask me about this statistics. I don't actually know shit.
their arm around me. I thought it was my mom. Not that she did that, but I was only a kid. I turned over to ask what she wanted, and there was a homeless man who was in my bed, and he was staring at me with a blank smile. He then said something to me like, "Well, looky here, isn't this a real treat?" Or something like that. It's been so long, I'm not sure exactly what was said. I then screamed, and he had said to quiet down since I was in his bed. My dad came into the room and then instantly got angry. Now,
I'm sorry, but this says 4 Home Alone horror stories. I don't think she's home alone, so what are you talking about, Home Alone stories?
oh, he's not a big guy, but he had picked him up and then dragged him right out of the house. The whole time, this guy was screaming that this is his house and that I'm now his wife. I was only about 10 years old at the time. We ended up calling the cops, and they came and got him. They told us that it was our own fault for not locking the doors.
Okay, hear me out. Yes and no. Police shouldn't say it's your fault you didn't lock your doors. But at the same time, I understand how it is their fault because they didn't lock their doors. But the thing is, you are never the fault for being a victim of a crime. It is always the perpetrator's fault because they did it in the first place. You know what I mean? So never blame yourself. Well, okay. It's okay to like blame yourself a little bit if you're being like if you make a stupid action, but at the same time, it's never your fault because you didn't commit the crime. Like, you are not messed up enough to do something like that, and that is not your fault, okay?
Needless to say, after that, we always had the doors locked regardless if it was day or night. I moved away and into a safer place, but I do still lock my doors to this day. I'm even a little OCD about it, and I make sure that I can't even open the door. I'm a mother now myself, and I can't even imagine something like this happening to my own children. Any names mentioned in this story have been changed for privacy reasons.
Okay.
I want to start off by saying that I'm currently going into my senior year in college at a large university in Pennsylvania.
Wait, let me guess. What large is it UPenn? Is it UPenn? Penn University? I'm trying to guess what university in Pennsylvania they're talking about. I was thinking it was going to be an Ivy League. Maybe UPenn is an Ivy League. Wait a minute.
This happened to me a few months ago while I was a junior in my spring semester. The apartment I was living in at the time had become flooded due to a burst pipe in my bathroom. So I was staying at my boyfriend John's house for a couple of weeks until the pipe was fixed.
Okay.
He lived in a house in a neighborhood that was only a 10-minute walk from campus, so it was really easy for me to get to and from my classes. The house was, well, interesting. It was a smaller 4-bedroom house that sat at the end of a
Wait. Does his parents own this house or does he own this house? And if he owns this house, is he a college student or is he not a college student? Because ain't no way in the world that this guy, as a college student, owns a house. Like, there's no way. Like, that's, unless his family's like super rich.
Cul-de-sac. A key detail to remember is that the house sat right next to a busy street with a sidewalk, as well as a guardrail separating the backyard of the house and the street.
Okay.
Another key detail is that the house had a creepy, unfinished basement with a side door that led into the basement, as well as a large crawl space in the back right corner of the room. The only person who went in the basement regularly is one of John's roommates, Owen.
Oh, so they probably rent the house. That's probably what it is. That makes more sense now.
Now that I've explained all of the background details, I'll get into the main story. On the third day I'd been staying in the house, I was lying in bed in John's room when I'd got a...
Also, if you're gonna have a female, maybe have a female narrator. I volunteer. I can do lots of voices. I can do a country accent. That's a little bit harsh. Oh god. I need to calm it down a little bit. But just, please, I would love to do voice acting work in these horror animated stories. Please, I'll do it for free, please!
A call from him. When I picked up the phone,
John.
before I could even say hello, he then immediately said, "Jamie, I'm freaking out right now."
Okay.
I paused and I asked him what was going on, and he then responded by explaining that he was walking on the sidewalk down the busy street that I previously mentioned when a dirty-looking homeless man had approached him. John said the man was just standing in the middle of the sidewalk just staring at it until John went to walk past him and he started talking to him. The man was talking about how handsome John was and that he must get a lot of attention from all the guys at school. John went on to explain that he had a girlfriend and had tried to...
What the fuck? This guy, he's on some gay stuff, which is okay, but it's creepy nonetheless. Stop being creepy. Regardless of sexuality, stop being creepy. Also, this reminds me of one time I was going into the Dollar Tree. I was all alone, and it was like dark outside because it's, the middle of winter. And this guy like opens the door for me and holds it open. I'm like, thank you. And then as I'm walking in, he's like, actually, can I ask you a question? And this entire time he's not making eye contact. I'm like, okay. Very scared for myself. And he's like, look, my wife is 5. Like, this is how he's talking to me. Like, you're me, okay? He's like this. My wife, she's 5 months pregnant and my car's in the shop. Do you think you could just give me a ride to my house? It's like a couple blocks down. And I was like, no, I cannot. I am sorry, no. And he's like, oh, okay, it's not that far. I was like, no, I gotta get some stuff done. Sorry, buddy. It just creeped me out though, because the entire time he just wasn't making eye contact with me. So I don't know, man. And he also seemed kind of like nervous, but I guess I don't know. And I felt bad. I felt like really bad, even though I called my friend after and was like, hey, this person like is outside of Dollar Tree and I'm kind of just waiting here because I don't want to leave yet. But they were like, no, it's like, you shouldn't feel bad for that because, you could get murdered. And I was like, yeah, that's fair, but I feel bad not being able to help people because I'm a woman.
Walk away from the man. However, before letting John go, the man said that he lived only a few blocks away and that he would see him very soon. John then walked away quickly, and when he briefly turned around, he saw the man still staring at him with a wide smile on his face. I was freaking out because this had happened literally right next to the backyard of the house, but I figured that the man wouldn't know where John lived. He hung up on the phone and got home a few minutes later, but insisted that nothing would happen and that everything would be okay.
Yeah,
however,
that face does not tell me everything's gonna be okay and that he said and thought that everything was gonna be okay. That face told me that he is just taking the most constipated shit of his life.
Several weird things happened over the next couple of days. I first saw that some of the food I had bought was missing from both the fridge and pantry. God. John had asked his roommates if they had taken the food, but both of them insisted that they hadn't. As well as this.
His face was so worried about that missing food. He's like, did you guys take my food? Where'd my food go?
I had heard weird noises at night that sounded like slow footsteps walking around the entire house, then descending into the basement. I just thought it was one of John's roommates sleepwalking and that John didn't seem to hear them, so I just shook it off. Well, about 5 days later after my boyfriend's phone call was when shit really hit the
fan. But anyways, something else that I want to say is I lock my bedroom door. Like, even if my, like, apartment door or my house door is locked, I will also lock my bedroom door because it just gives me that extra feeling of security, because, like, I might not be able to hear if somebody breaks into the door that's, like, you know, like, pretty far from me. But if someone's trying to break down my bedroom door, I have a better chance of hearing that.
fan. It was the middle of the day, and John and I were laying in his bed watching TV when we had heard a loud scream from the basement. John jumped up and ran towards the basement while I stayed in the room scared as hell. A few seconds went by when I saw John sprint to his room and then yell at me to get out of the house. Owen followed soon after, so I knew whatever happened was serious.
I don't know if you can hear it, but in the background they're playing the 28 Days Later theme, and Cillian Murphy's in that movie, so...
Oh my God, my Shayla, my Shayla.
We all ran into the house and then jumped into John's car when he then told me what was going on. So apparently Owen was in the basement getting tools to work on his motorcycle when he had heard strange noises sounding like chewing coming from the crawl space. He didn't think anything of it until the noises got louder and louder, and when Owen went to look in the crawl space...
I'm sorry, but if you hear somebody in the garage or like in the basement that you're hiding in, why are you gonna munch down on some chips and Cheetos? Like, do you have no brain cells?
He didn't see anything at first because it was so dark. So he had shined his flashlight into the crawl space and then immediately screamed.
Oh. I guess
there was a dirty-looking man sitting in the far back corner of the crawl space eating a bag of chips. My chips from the kitchen pantry. That's when...
They use that as like the turning point of, like, you know how when they say something scary, like the character realizes something and then it's like a plot twist kind of. He used that for his chips. He was like, my chips. Like, he just realized some big part of this scary story.
When John went to go check out what happened, and Owen screamed at him to get the hell out of the house. John called the police while we all waited in the car.
His skin's melting.
With the doors locked. Luckily, the police arrived within 5 minutes, and Owen immediately directed them to the basement. A few minutes later, the police came out of the house with the man in handcuffs. John then gasped.
He kind of looks like John Wick, if John Wick lost a bunch of weight, lost a bunch of sleep, and started doing meth.
And then said, "Oh my God, that's him." I was confused until I then realized that it was the same creepy man who had spoke to John on the sidewalk only days prior. I will never forget the look on John's face. It was full of pure terror. After the officer put the man in their police car, they took John's statement. That's when we found out how the man was able to get into the house. It turned out that he was homeless and had got into the house from the unlocked side door that led into the basement. He then crawled into the crawl space and set up camp there. When the police searched the crawl space, they found food wrappers, chip bags, bottled Gatorade, and a small blanket that Owen ended up claiming as his. He was the one stealing all of the food from the kitchen and was probably making the strange noises that I was hearing at night. It terrifies me to know that he was living in John's house for who knows how many days until he was caught. John has since moved out of that house, and I returned to my apartment. I never knew what happened to that man after the incident. For all I know, he could be back to roaming on that sidewalk, waiting for another house to break into. The moral of the story is to lock every door in your house and always keep an eye out for strange individuals. If that man wasn't caught, who knows what he could have done.
I'm sorry, but why is the lesson learned from this story that you should always lock your doors and keep an eye out for strange individuals? I feel like this is just very common sense, but maybe some people do really lack common sense, like I guess children. So are these horror stories more so to teach children? Because I'm very self-aware of these kinds of things. Like, it's something that genuinely terrifies me as a woman. And not to pull the woman card, but I'm pulling the woman card. Also, I just want to talk about a story real quick. So I'm going to tell a little short story that I made when I was probably in like the 4th grade or so. And if you don't want to listen to it, that is a-okay. You can just skip to the timestamp on this video and continue where you want to go. So recently I logged on to fanfiction.net and I like had written a story on it so long ago, and it's terrible. Okay, it is terrible. It's not a fan fiction, it's just my own personal story, but pretty much the story is called Him, and I wrote this when I was in 4th grade. So I'm gonna tell the story. I'm not gonna say it word for word because my writing in this day and age was absolutely horrendous. So pretty much this girl, I think I named her Emily Rose. Don't know where I got that name from, but I named her Emily Rose, and she's sitting at home watching some TV late at night. She's like 17 years old. Anyway, she hears the door open to like her front door, but like it's locked, so she's like, what the fuck? And then she like pauses her TV to listen, and she's like, who the fuck? And so slowly she hears footsteps, and she's like, okay, well that's weird. So she like just sits there kind of in terror, frozen, like who's in our house, because like my parents are upstairs sleeping, my siblings are upstairs sleeping, what's going on? And then slowly he comes into view from the hallway, and she just sees like this really dark figure, like a man with a hat, like think creepy pasta vibes. Pasta. No. And she's like, holy shih tzu. So she books it up the stairs and starts screaming, Mom, Dad, there's someone in our house, oh my god. She trips up the stairs because, you know, it's a horror movie vibe to it. And yeah, one by one each of her family members get brutally murdered. So they find themselves in her parents' room. She grabs her little sister, we'll call her Annabeth or whatever, Annabeth, and they leave her little brother in his room sleeping because they can't get to him in time. The man is in the hallway. He is there. He is pounding on their door, trying to break in. The dad is holding the door closed. They locked their bedroom door and they said, you know what, we gotta go out the window. Suddenly, the like pounding stops and they're like, holy shit, what is going on? And they hear the footsteps go towards the brother's bedroom. And, you know, nothing happens. It's silent for a couple minutes, and they're like, is it safe? And the dad's like, no, we're not going out there. We need to get a phone. And for whatever reason, I guess they don't have a phone, because I didn't have a phone at that age, so I guess nobody had a phone back then when I was, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever. And they slowly go out the window. Emily takes her little sister Annabeth and said, all right, guys, let's get out of here. They gotta jump from the second story into like the bush or whatever, the shrubs around their house. And mind you, they live in like the middle of the woods, okay? So they're like, shit. And then the mom follows after, but then the door gets breaking down, and then the dad gets stabbed or murdered. I guess stabbed. I don't know where the guy got this murder weapon from, but he gets stabbed. They watch it, and they're like, the mom's like, you gotta go, come on, run with Annabeth. There's a police station about like blah 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 through these woods. You gotta make it to that police station. They start running. They start booking it. Emily trips with her sister in her hands. Mind you, her sister is like probably like 6 years old or so, and the man is catching up. The mom tries to hold him off. She tries to fight him. Mom gets murdered. My bad, Mom. And then Emily keeps running and running, and I don't know what happens, but apparently the man gets the little girl and I guess takes her and murders her. I don't know why I was so like not okay at that age. But anyways, Emily Rose keeps running to the police station. She gets there. She's like, holy shit, you guys, my family was just murdered. I need your help. And, you know, police come. They go to their house and they find, you know, the bodies, and they're like, holy crap. And she's like, where's my brother? Where's my little brother, Tim? You know, my 11-year-old brother, Tim. Where is he at? He's not in his bedroom. We haven't found his body. Where is he at? So, you know, years pass. She eventually moves in with her family in another state. And, you know, it's just the brother was never found. Her other family members are dead. And she's trying to move on with her life. She's now in college. And one night she's up late watching TV while her aunt or whatever, her aunt and her aunt's family are up, you know, upstairs sleeping. And then suddenly the door opens and the hairs on her arms stand straight up. And she's like, he's here. And then that's how it ends, you know, because I'm great for plot twists, or I'm great. I was such a wonderful writer back then. Oh my gosh. I can write better now, I swear. Because of that little story I gave, we're only gonna have time for one more, so if you want to watch the last one, or the last two, you're gonna have to go to their channel to watch it.
This took place around 8 to 9 months ago on the 24th of August, which was a Saturday. School had been going on for about 2 weeks, so to distress a little, I had decided to see if my friends, who I'll call Griffin and Broly, wanted to hop on Fortnite. My mom and sister were out shopping. My dad was working and I was bored.
I think this is the first like truly Home Alone horror story that we're getting in the Home Alone horror stories animated.
It was around 8 p.m. when we finally got on to play because I had decided to make pizza rolls beforehand and ended up burning the batch.
That is not
After
pizza rolls.
a few
That's just
rounds,
pizza.
I could tell my friends were getting tired of losing, so they got off.
Wait, what? They're there though. What do you mean? You're You're not home alone. You're with your friends. What?
After an hour.
Oh, they're
I was
leaving?
planning on just lying down with my phone and just going to bed.
They're leaving. Never mind.
That was until I had heard my 2 dogs barking outside. It's not unusual for them to bark, given how people typically walk on the side of the road, but I still looked anyway just to make sure. I didn't see anybody, but seconds after looking out the window, I heard our garage door open and then shut. That usually means my dad is home from work, but I didn't see his van outside, and he had texted me earlier telling me that he would be working late. I decided to walk downstairs into the dining room and then look out the window to get a better view. From there, I could see that our driveway was empty. There wasn't a person or vehicle in sight. At first, I just thought, oh crap.
Oh crap. I know it's easy to like just say, oh, call the police when you're feeling like something like this happens, but in the moment you're probably thinking like there's no, like you're kind of in denial. You're like, there's no way someone actually broke into my house and trying to kill me or like trying to rob me or whatever. So I understand from like my perspective of watching this. I'm like, just call the police, have them show up. If it's nothing, it's nothing. But I also know that if I were in this situation, calling the police would be like a last resort, like, or it'd be like once I fully, what do you call it, confirm that there's somebody in my house, that's when I call the police.
Maybe it's a ghost, because someone had died on our land when it was a gas station before. Apparently.
Can you build a house on a gas station? Because I thought that would be like really bad, because you gotta think like for gas stations they have to go underneath the gas station to like, you know, put the gas in there. So I don't think you can build a house on top of a gas station. But also, a ghost wouldn't even cross my mind because I do not believe in ghosts. I've talked about this a couple times on my channel, but like that would not even cross my mind. I would be like, somebody's breaking into my house before I think of, oh, maybe my house is haunted.
An old man put too much air in his tire and it just popped. I wasn't the type to go investigate, so I ran back to my bedroom and texted my family group chat to ask if anybody was home.
Yeah, that's what I
told
do.
my mom about the garage door and she told me to turn off the lights, lock my bedroom door, and then just stay there until she got home. So I did just that. About 15 minutes later, I thought that I heard our wooden floor downstairs creaking, like someone was trying to be sneaky. I didn't have anything to use as a weapon, so I unclipped my microphone's boom arm from my desk.
Me. That'd be me. I was like, anything can be a weapon if you make it a weapon. Like right now, if somebody broke into my room, right at this moment, I'm grabbing this and I'm flinging it at them. This thing's sharp and it has glass. I'm just fully on like frisbeeing it at their face, okay? I can't get it back on. There we go.
Desk, and then quietly opened my door, peeking from underneath. I walked out into our upstairs balcony and looked over, trying to see if I could spot anyone hiding or anything suspicious. I then stupidly yelled, "Hey, is anybody there?" Like,
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What do you mean? Hey, is anybody there? No, you don't do that. You gotta keep that upper hand. If you don't know where they are, you gotta better make sure that they don't know where you are. That is how you keep the upper hand. You gotta pretty much become the killer in this scenario. You know? Become the stalker. Become the person pretending you're breaking into somebody else's house and you don't want them to know that you're there.
they were really going to answer. I thought everything was fine until I saw a large silhouette of somebody standing underneath the balcony. I panicked and then ran to the closest room with a door, which happened to be my small bathroom. The intruder must have known that I noticed them because I heard loud and fast footsteps running up our stairs as I locked myself in the bathroom.
Is there a window?
I had stupidly left my phone in my bedroom, which was right beside the bathroom. After I built up enough courage, I bolted into my bedroom, locking the door as soon as I got in.
He's in there.
My sister's room was right across from mine, and its door was open, so I figured the intruder must have been in there. After locking my bedroom door, I grabbed my phone and typed 911 into it.
Is he in there?
Just before I called, I had noticed that the storage room in my wall was open just a tad.
Oh, fuck.
I saw a dark brown eyeball peeking through the crevice, staring right into my soul. The pure terror that I felt in that moment is something that I will never forget. I booked it down the stairs and out of my front door,
Where's your mic
running up
arm?
the hill to my neighbor's house. He was a police officer. He alerted the other cops while I stayed with his wife, and he went down to investigate. I told him about the intruder hiding in my bedroom. Minutes later, I ran back down the hill to see if the intruder had been caught. When I walked in, I saw a tall, skinny man with a gray beard and a dirty black coat being pushed onto the floor by my neighbor as he was getting handcuffed.
Yeah, I'd be terrified.
I'm not allowed to be home alone anymore, and we have better security around our house now.
That's good.
My family was just happy to know that I wasn't hurt, and they were very thankful for my neighbor's bravery. I don't wish an experience like this on anybody, not even my worst enemy.
Alrighty, so that's gonna do it for our scary animations today. Give this video a like if you want to see more videos like this. I would love to continue this series, and there's gonna be some more Dead by Daylight content coming soon, some more Until Dawn content coming soon. So if you're interested in absolutely any of that, go give my channel a look at, or go look at my channel and see if you're interested in subscribing, because it's free and you're gonna support a small creator who one day is hopefully going to have a full-time job on YouTube. Anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you in another video. Bye.